Time now to Ask the Expert. Here to answer your questions live on the air about preparing for illnesses while you travel is Dr. Natasha Bhuyan with One Medical. Okay, our first question is from Matthew in Surprise. He asks, should I wear a mask on a plane? That's still a question these days.
Question. And look, it really comes down to a personal decision and doing a little bit of research. So if it's a time of year where there's a lot of flu viruses and a lot of coronaviruses going around, it is a good idea to wear a mask on a plane. That is to protect yourself. If you have symptoms, any kind of cold symptoms and you're traveling, you should wear a mask to protect those around you. But if it's a time of year and you're in a region where there's not a lot of viruses circulating, then you don't have to wear a mask on a plane. I will say though, even before COVID, even before the pandemic, a lot of people did wear masks when they traveled on airplanes just for hygiene reasons. And so it ultimately comes down to a personal decision.
And I feel like the mask, you know, it's more, isn't that more prevalent come fall?
Yeah, it's really in the fall and the winter when there's a lot of viruses circulating, but it also depends on where you are.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, Tina from Mesa asks, I see people load up on vitamin C and zinc to stay healthy. Does that work? I've wanted to know this too.
Yes, okay, so vitamin C and zinc are really good for your immune system. And so it's good to eat those foods and make sure that you're getting that in your immune system. But if you take vitamin C and zinc, it doesn't actually prevent you from getting a virus. So if you encounter a virus and you inhale the particles, you'll still end up getting sick.
Okay.
That being said, if you're taking zinc and vitamin C, what it's shown to do is actually shorten the duration of the virus when you do get sick.
Okay.
So can't prevent it, can shorten it. I think it's worth doing, especially in certain times of the year when there's lots of virus circulating. I don't think it's worth it though in the summertime.
So not so much preventative care, but when you feel it, take it.
When you feel those symptoms, that's what I always reach for.
Okay, good. Penny from Bullhead City, I'm going on a cruise next week. With the norovirus spiking, what should I do to stay healthy?
This is a great question. So norovirus is really known as a cruise ship virus.
Yes.
And that's because if one person on a cruise ship has norovirus, it ends up causing an outbreak among dozens and dozens of people because cruise ships are really packed, tight quarters. People are eating at the buffet, touching all kinds of things. Okay, so it is good that you're being really vigilant. So when you travel, Penny, here's a couple things I say. Always, always, always wash your hands before you eat. Bring hand sanitizer, even better to wash in sink, soap and water. And then also avoid touching railings or, places that a lot of people touch, bathroom door handles, making bathroom faucets. Those are places that the virus can actually live. And then finally, when you eat at the buffet, make sure that you're eating warm food. So if the food has been sitting out and now it's a little tepid, don't eat that buffet food. Make sure that it's warm, that it's fresh. And then I don't want you to be a tattletale, but if you see someone at the buffet and they don't look well and they're coughing all over the place, tell someone on the cruise ship because we don't want them spreading viruses everywhere.
Yeah, that's worth the tattle.
Yeah, it's worth tattling.
Whoa. Lara from Chandler says, what if I get sick? How do I know it's a cold versus an urgent care trip?
That's a good question. I do tell people look out for some red flag symptoms with a cold. So if you feel like you have a cold, but you've got high fevers of over 103 degrees, that's a red flag symptom. Other red flag symptoms are trouble breathing, dizziness, any sort of confusion. Or if your symptoms are actually getting worse after a couple of days rather than getting better, those are all reasons to reach out to your doctor or go to an urgent care. And when you're traveling, it's harder to find those locations. And so this is why I encourage people, research healthcare clinics and hospitals at your destination before you go. That way you know what's around you.
Excellent advice. Mary from Phoenix says, I'm going to Europe later this week for spring break. How should I prepare?
Yeah, Europe is one of those interesting regions because there's certain parts of Europe that actually have higher rates of infectious diseases. So even in Eastern Europe, we do see cases of things like malaria. There's parts of Europe that also have things like West Nile virus. And so I do tell people, if you're going to take an international trip, reach out to your PCP, talk about exactly where you're going and exactly what you're doing, and they can help you map out how you should be prepared before you go.
Oh, that's so great. Oh, I love your advice, Natasha. Thank you so very much.